Hi, I'm Hannah. If you are applying for an AmplifyChange grant, or if you have been offered a grant and need to understand how your project can contribute to our vision to secure universal sexual and reproductive health and rights, or SRHR for all, this film will help you. Over the next few minutes, we will explain how your project can contribute to our theory of change, how you can decide which indicators are relevant to your project, and why this is important. So what is the AmplifyChange theory of change? It shows the pathway of change that AmplifyChange follows to achieve full attainment of SRHR for women and girls, young people, the vulnerable and marginalised, meaning the steps we need to take to secure universal sexual and reproductive health and rights for all. Firstly, we've identified 5 impact areas that need advocacy and support to achieve our vision. Your project doesn't need to be an exact fit with these impact areas, but it needs to address issues or challenges surrounding at least one of them. Our impact areas are: eliminate all forms of gender-based violence, improve access to SRHR services. These need to be rights-based, culturally appropriate and gender-sensitive. Improve access to safe and legal abortion and post-abortion care for all. Improve access to comprehensive sexuality education and information, as well as SRHR services for young people. Eliminate stigma and discrimination on grounds of gender or sexual orientation. You can get more information on our impact areas on the website. Our existing grantees work on a variety of topics which correspond to the above impact areas. For example, if your project was looking to end the stigma around menstrual health, your impact area could be the elimination of stigma on the grounds of gender. Or if you were advocating for the sexual and reproductive health and rights of persons with disabilities, this could link to both improving access to SRHR services and improving access to comprehensive sexuality education for young people, although the main impact area would depend on the project approach. The next level of our theory of change shares the outcomes that would best help achieve our vision. These are the outcomes we hope to achieve through AmplifyChange, and therefore we support projects that address at least one of them. Increased individual awareness of SRHR as human rights. Improved access to SRHR resources, information and services. Transformation of social norms. Changes in and implementation of policies and laws. Building stronger, more inclusive movements for SRHR. So, how is this relevant to your application and your project design? Your project needs to join up with these impact and outcome areas to make sure your project links to the aims of AmplifyChange. You can do this by selecting the AmplifyChange impact and outcome areas that are the most relevant to your project. We have also developed a set of indicators corresponding to each outcome area that help measure the impact of your work. Depending on the application process, either during application or once you secure a grant, you will need to identify which of our indicators are the most relevant for your project. If you feel that the AmplifyChange indicators do not fully cover your proposed work, you can also develop your own indicators. You will be asked to report against the selected indicators during the project's lifetime. The number and type of indicators you will need to select are based on the size of your grant. Each grant type has different requirements. The indicator list with details on each indicator will be made available to you during the application process, or can be found on the website. Let me talk you through an example to help explain how you select your indicators. A project aims to end female genital mutilation and all forms of violence against women and girls. They plan to use education, working with communities to empower women, men, boys and girls to challenge traditional practices that affect their dignity and well-being. The activities for the project could include training of community facilitators, The facilitators will run community workshops and educational talks. Each workshop will reach 15 to 25 survivors of female genital mutilation. These workshops will include cultural shows and music, plays and traditional dancing, and they will advocate through storytelling. 6 workshops will be run on the role of community stakeholders, for example, village heads, young people, parents, teachers, and community leaders. These will also look at ending female genital mutilation and look at the rights and responsibilities of community members. These activities will be included in your work plan. Based on the project description and goals, there are 2 core outcome areas for the project: increasing individual awareness of SRHR as human rights and transforming social norms. So we will choose our indicators based on this. There are many activities taking place to reach the community. The activities are sharing knowledge on how individuals and communities can be active in challenging FGM. So, we can select IA 2.1, which measures the number of individuals reached by the programme who become empowered to claim their SRHR, for example, reporting GBV cases or requesting services for the first time. As the project is training survivors of FGM to lead workshops, you could select IA 3.1, which measures the number of individuals from marginalised groups reached by the programme who become active in advocating for SRHR. As projects will train religious and community leaders on the importance of ending FGM, the project can select SN 1.1, which measures increased and more public support for SRHR and less negative statements from key influencers to measure this change. Men and boys are also a key target group in the project as well, in order to change the social norms around FGM. The project can measure this by selecting SN 1.2. Men and boys increase their engagement to actively supporting SRHR. For example, supporting girls and women in their family and community to exercise their SRHR, speaking out on SRHR issues in public, and participating in marches. Against each indicator, you will develop your own project milestones. Your milestones will be unique to your project. Milestones are not activities. They summarise what you expect a group of activities to achieve over a specific time period. For example, if we were to return to the female genital mutilation project, the training of facilitators would increase the knowledge of a number of individuals on the concerns and alternatives to female genital mutilation. After the workshops were conducted by the facilitators, you would expect to see increased knowledge about the implications of female genital mutilation and a greater understanding of their bodies by those that had been through the process. You will be asked to suggest the means of verification for each milestone. These are the ways to verify the progress that has been achieved. This verification can be in a written, audio, video, or alternative format, and we're interested in hearing about how the activities and milestones have brought about change. For example, pre- and post-assessments of knowledge to show an increase in knowledge, a first-hand story of the impact that participating in a workshop had on them, or how a village leader is now speaking out about female genital mutilation. We ask all AmplifyChange grantees to report on their project every 6 months. Reports provide an opportunity for all AmplifyChange grantees to come together with their teams, beneficiaries and partners to reflect on the experience and lessons learned from the project. When you are reporting to us, you will be asked to share your progress against each milestone and send us the corresponding means of verification. You will only be asked to report against your agreed indicators and milestones. But it is fine if the AmplifyChange indicators and milestones fit into a broader monitoring and evaluation approach, which looks at your project activities in more detail. We're always keen to see any additional information you might have on your project's achievements. Reporting against your milestones, using agreed means of verification, is a contractual requirement. Delays in reporting will affect the subsequent disbursements of your funds. Our advice is to collect the verification information as you go, as it can be very difficult to get it retrospectively. If you are working with partners across a consortium, you will need to make sure they understand this and that they report to you on time so that you can submit your regular reports. It is possible to agree new milestones and indicators if your project changes during your grant. Ensuring you have developed a good monitoring and evaluation process before you start your project will help make sure you are collecting the necessary data to measure your progress. It is also important that all your milestones and indicators closely correspond to your planned activities and project budget throughout the project period. Thank you for watching this film. We hope you found it helpful.